Okay, everybody, time for the oval review. I do have my notes this time, so I'm not going to be so all over the place, and I'm back on my regular camera. I got it charged up and everything so I can do my review. So let me just queue up my notes here and we can get started. So what I forgot to talk about last week was that Denise was coming on to Yuma. Yuma was giving her a ride home, and Denise decided that she was going to start touching Yuma, and Yuma was like, please remove your hand from my leg. And Denise just kept going, and she got a hold of Yuma's wallet, and she looked in it, and she said, well, if you're going to lie, you shouldn't have a picture of you with you and your wife on your wedding day in your wallet. And Yuma's like, give me back my wallet, give me back my wallet. And Denise gets out the car and still has it. But she comes up to the window, car door window, and it's like, okay, well, you can come inside. And she's trying to get Yuma to come inside, but she gives her her wallet, and Denise goes inside her store, and she's standing there in the window looking and waiting for Yuma to come in. Yuma stays there for about a few seconds, and she drives off, and Denise is like, oh, you're stronger than I thought. So I guess Denise just likes being with married people, because she's already messing with Hunter, and now she's trying to mess with Yuma, and Yuma's married. I'm like, so you really like messing with married people? And she really doesn't know anything about Yuma's wife. She could try to beat her up too, just like Victoria did. So now we go over to Richard, and he sees the bullet hole in the car. And he wants Nancy to give him, he wants Nancy to tell him where the spare key is to Barry's car. And she tells him, and he's reluctant to tell her at first. He doesn't want to tell her, and she keeps pushing and pushing and pushing until she gets the truth out of him. And finally, he tells her what went down and how he's gonna try to cover everything up, and she's like, you can't do this. You have to go to the police and tell them what happened. It was an accident. And he's not listening. He's saying, well, if we go to the police, I'm just gonna tell them I did it. And honestly, it was, I mean, both Barry and Richard were at fault, because they were fighting over the gun and it went off. So seems like to me the fault is kind of, there's an equal fault there. And okay, let's see. So finally she just lets him have the keys, and he goes on out to get rid of the car. Get rid of the car. I believe I think he wanted to get rid, maybe he wanted to get it fixed. I'm not sure what his intent was. So over at Lily's house, she's still trying to get answers from Donald, but although she knows that Bobby is alive because he came to her, and she asked Donald, did somebody send Bobby after me? And Donald, he once again, he's being very secretive, and which I don't think that he knows that, well, of course we know that he doesn't know that Kyle sent Bobby after Lily, but nonetheless he's acting like very secretive. He's not gonna let her know that he has all these issues with Kyle, but he's probably gonna figure out at one point or another that Kyle did send Bobby after Lily. So that was that for that scene. So Victoria's in the kitchen with Priscilla, and Priscilla's doing her job. She's asking Victoria if she wants any breakfast and all of that, and So Victoria tears into her like, why are you so fake? Why are you so fake? And it's like, of course, Priscilla's like, just doing our job. And Victoria is really irritated by the whole yes sir, yes ma'am stuff. And Priscilla just keeps up the protocol. It's like, we're doing our job by saying this. And Victoria, turns out she's worried about whether or not the staff heard the fight and knows about the fight and is talking about the fight and all of that. And she she so she Priscilla just tells her, well, we don't talk, we don't do any of that. And she's just reassuring her that the environment is very professional and nobody cares about their fighting. Although we do know that they are listening. They do know that the whole situation is a mess. The staff knows all of that. So Victoria's father is on the phone. And so she takes the call in the bedroom, and he's talking to her and Hunter, and he seems to have a lot of control here. And it turns out that it was him that had Picky shot. It seems like what he was saying, because he said he handled something. And I think it was that was what he had done, because Victoria's like, what? And so basically he's just telling them what to do, Hunter and Victoria what to do. He asked Hunter why he wasn't in the Oval yet, and he said, I'm heading down now. And this guy has a lot of control, so that's probably going to be a theme in the show, that the father is really pulling the strings here. So after he's off the phone, Hunter and Victoria do their back and forth, and he's like, he just says, Victoria, I hate you, and she's like, bitch, I hate you too. So that was that with that part. So Barry wakes up, and he wants to, of course, get back to the search for his daughter, and he can't find his car, and he was looking for her doll and all of that. And so he's still wait, yeah, he was still looking for his car. And all that was happening, and Nancy ended up slapping him because she was angry about him getting a gun from his cousin. And Richard, he said, let's go to the police. When Barry was looking for his car, he said, we're going to go to the police. And Sharon was saying, I'm going to go to work. And Barry didn't want to go to work. He's like, well, that guy pressed charges against me. I'm like, come on, Barry, you did wreck his pharmacy. That is worthy of pressing charges. Oh, I don't know why he was like, he's like, how dare he press charges against me for wrecking his shop. That's kind of like how clueless he sounded. And so I guess they're gonna go. I guess him and Richard are gonna go to the police. Um, Back to the White House, Hunter wants Donald to talk to Kyle. Get all that together, get that going, so Kyle can be head of the detail. And then we get a scene with Priscilla and Jason. Jason is having breakfast, and he starts asking her questions. Do you have any kids? And she's like, no, we're trying. So she really sort of opened up to Jason right there, and he tells her, well, don't be like my parents to your kids. Just don't. And she's trying to say, oh, well, they couldn't be that bad and all that. And he's like, my sister jumped out of a moving car. And Priscilla wasn't aware of that, because her face, you could see on her face that she was showing real concern about that. And So let's see. So we see the doctor, Victoria with the doctor, and she gives her the rundown on what's going on with Gail. Victoria wants to know if the doctor gave Gail any pain medication. So she said, no meds, no pain medication. And the doctor's like, well, they're very mild and not addictive. And she says, still no, I don't want her to have any pain medication. So Jason goes in there in Gail's room and he's like, can I see your bruises? And she's like, no, you're such a pervert. Yeah, and he is really weird. So Victoria, she comes in, she tells Jason to get out, and she's got the pain medication, and Gail's like, what are you doing with my pain medication? I need it. And she said, no, you're gonna know what pain really is like. So she gives her phone. Victoria gives Gail her phone, and she says, watch the last video. And so the last video is Picky getting executed. I'm like, you are incredibly vicious, Victoria, just vicious. And so Donald, he sort of interrogates Kyle, and he knows that Kyle was up to a whole lot of stuff, and that I guess, yeah, that he gave Jason a tour of the White House, and that was how Jason was able to figure out how to pull off that whole scheme to get Gail out of the White House. And you know, Donald, I think he's trying to figure out how to get rid of Kyle, but since the president wants him heading up the detail for the first family, he can't get rid of him just yet. So he says, I'll be watching you. And he's, Kyle, I like when you watch me, being real weird and creepy and all of that. And we find out a little bit more about what's going on between them. And Kyle's like to Donna, I'm sorry I broke your heart. He meant nothing to me, Abby. But for you to marry that, and I guess whatever transpired with Kyle prompted Donald to marry Lily. And Kyle just gets on his knees and is like begging, and Donald's like, he gets up like, no, get off me. And so now I don't know what's going to happen with that, but now we really know why Kyle does not like Lily. It's because Donald married her after Kyle cheated on him. So we really know that why he has that animosity towards her. So and then Kyle's like, I can see that you want me, and I don't have to say exactly why Kyle said that because it was pretty obvious. Because Donald's like, oh, you know what, you know what, Kyle, man, you saw the show. I don't have to spell it out for you. So so Hunter and Victoria, they call a meeting, the staff, and the staff is all standing up there, and Jean's like, they're probably going to fire all of us. And she's just like, but just give me back my car. So the purpose of the meeting was just to lie to the staff. We love each other, blah, 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 and just a bunch of fakery. And so the staff, they make sure that Richard gets his job back and all of that, and then they leave, and then Hunter and Victoria break the fake facade, and she's like, let go of my hand. And he's like, well, I love squeezing it so tightly. And he lets go of her hand, and and she leaves, and then him and Donald, they're talking about the business of the White House and all that. So the last scene is at Richard and Nancy's house. And so the cult lady, she's really weird. She was looking out the window, and at first she's not really saying anything. She's just, talking in circles again. And then finally she talks about her daughter and all of that, and then she gives them a list of places where the children and the cult might be. And uh, um, she asks Richard, "Oh, do you have a phone? Can you record me?" And he says, "Sure." And so he starts taking a video of her, and she's like, "This is my last will and testament. I want my children to be raised, my child or whatever, to be raised by Richard and Nancy Halson." And he's like, "No, wait a minute now." And he's trying to talk her down and all of that. And so she eventually just pulls out a gun and just plugs herself. And of course Nancy's screaming and all of that, so that scene was pretty intense. Now next week is the season finale, and I'm hoping that we get some really good action on there, and because there's a few storylines going on, so I hope we get some action and good cliffhangers for each storyline. So anyway, that was the Oval. I'm going to be doing the haves and the have-nots review a little bit later. So as always, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you the next time. Good day.